it's no bad thing in a way to lose to a guy like that. And then at the level he's fighting at, and at the age, even though this guy's not in someone like Anyway's class, it's still a magnificent achievement. And I think sometimes we forget because of people like Floyd Mayweather, right? He was fighting until an old age. We forget that this actually is old for boxing. 5 decades ago, a guy fighting at 38 and winning new titles, that's crazy.
Alright, yo guys, welcome to the Purist podcast. This week we've got a special guest. We've got Reemus Boxing.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Glad to be here.
Alright, let's get into it. Devin Haney defends his WBC lightweight title against Jorge Linares. What did you make of the fight?
I think it's one of them ones that show that Haney can be at the top of the game. I think a lot of people are giving him criticism for the last 2 rounds, but I think that's the path that he needs to take in order to get experience, so that when he comes up against the other guys, he will have that experience in the bag, and then he knows how to deal with it. So I think some of the boxing fans can be too harsh when they're saying, "Oh, he got hit with that punch," or "He had to go through some challenge." But then that's exactly what we want him to do. If he didn't do that, we'd be criticizing him for not having been through those troubles. So it don't make sense to me.
Yeah, when he goes 12 rounds and he ends up just winning a quick decision, everyone criticizes him for not going for the knockout and whatnot. And then the one fight where he does actually try put it on someone for 12 rounds, he gets caught. You got to remember, Loma got caught by the exact same punch and Loma went down. He stayed up and he got through the adversity. Obviously, I get what they're saying, like, obviously because he was holding on and he didn't look too pretty at the end. By the day, he's a champion, isn't it? That's what champions do. You find a way to win. And I think now that he's been hit by a hard puncher and he's got through that, he's going to have that confidence when he goes against Lopez or Ryan Garcia and he gets hit. He's thinking, you know what, I've been here. I've done what I've had to do and I've come out the other side, innit? So in terms of learning and experience fight, I thought it was great for him, innit? But in terms of seeing him pepper someone for 9 rounds and the guy, Linares is not disheartened at all, and he just thought, I'm gonna keep walking forward, I'm gonna keep taking this, and I'm gonna keep going forward. So I think in that sense, if you're Teofimo Lopez or Ryan Garcia, and you're seeing someone just pepper someone for 9 rounds, a man didn't get hurt once, you're gonna take that confidence to know all it takes a couple catch encounters here and there, and I could have him hurt. So there's up and down towards the fight, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be honest. After that fight, I did say to myself, I don't know if he could conquer all of the other lightweights. I know he's in the mix. I know he can be at the top, but I rated him a bit more highly before that. And it's just because I'm thinking to myself, you do need that sting if you're gonna fight. If you're gonna fight a young, hungry lion like Teofimo Lopez, you need a bit of firepower to keep him away. And I see some people in the comments saying that Haney could be the new Paulie Malignaggi. I think that's a bit too far to say. I think that's a bit too harsh. But at the same time, he still is young. He's going to grow into his body. He still doesn't, to me, have a frame on him yet. So maybe that will play a part. What do you think?
Literally before the fight, I said if he doesn't knock out Linares, then I wouldn't pick him versus Garcia or Teofimo Lopez because of what you just said. Like, if you ain't got that sting to keep Teofimo Lopez off you, then there's nothing that's going to keep him off you. See, the same thing with Loma. If you look at skills-wise, Loma's probably better than Teo. Because Teo's so much bigger than him, and every time he's hitting you, he's hurting. You're going to be gun-shy. And if you can't get that kind of person out of there, they're probably going to get you out of there, innit? So I feel like going forward, it'll be tough for him. So you'll be picking Teofimo to beat Devin Haney.
I think Teofimo Lopez is going to smoke all of them. That's what I'm saying. I'm putting it out there. I think Teofimo Lopez is going to conquer them all. And I like the way he's chasing everyone down. Like, he seems like the type of fighter that he doesn't care about the extra stuff. It's like, let's get in there and fight. It doesn't matter. I don't care about this promoter or that promoter. I want to conquer the lands. And you need that spirit.
You're right, because I remember before when he was talking about fighting this guy, fighting that guy. Back then I was thinking, because a lot of boxers don't do that these days. So I was thinking, this guy's probably just talking shit. As if Top Rank, they're going to take him slow. Then he took the Comey fight. And I was thinking, there's no way he's going to fight Comey and then Loma straight after, innit? But that's exactly what he done. And then now he's taking his mandatory, and after his mandatory, you can't say he's not going to fight someone good, because he's got the track record. Even with the few title fights he's had, he's got that track record where he's going to call out the best and he's going to want to fight the best. That you can't say for a lot of these other boxers.
And I think George Kambosos is the type of fighter that you might actually want to avoid. Like, you might not actually want to go through that route if the money's not there. But I think he would take those fights regardless of any of the business side of it. I really think he wants everyone. And you need that. He's talking about fighting Josh Taylor, and that to me is like, it's kind of like Josh Taylor is dominating that division, of course. He became the undisputed. And you're just calling him out straight away. And you're still young yourself. So I rate it. What did you think of the Josh Taylor fight?
I thought it was a good fight. Taylor, he had me scared in like rounds 2 and 3. He had me scared because I had a lot of people in the comments. You know, in the comments, they just start grilling you about your pick. I was thinking all these guys are going to be right, but he stayed calm, composed, got them nice, sharp counters in. Obviously, he hurt Ramirez a couple times, dropped him, and he did what he had to do, innit? I think Taylor is a special talent, innit? Out of all the UK fighters, I think Josh Taylor is number one, innit? Obviously, you can say him or Fury, but for me, it's Josh Taylor, innit? Pound for pound, I'll put him number one. What do you think? What do you think of him against Teo?
It's a difficult one because I would be thinking about what Teo hasn't shown yet against what Taylor has shown. Because I do think that Taylor is almost underrated. Maybe it's because he doesn't have the big brand yet. But when I see him fight, I'm like, he's actually skilled. He prioritizes defense and counter punching. To me, he's all around. Like, he has everything you need to dominate, and that's why he's dominating now. But I think people are sleeping on his skills, but perhaps it's because of the promotion, you know? But I also what I like about him is his mindset. I didn't know that guy had that gritty side to him until like a couple fights ago. Because I thought he was just a nice guy and stuff. I was like, damn. he's actually a warrior. He's a warrior, fam.
I know a couple people who have been like watching him spar against quite good guys, innit? And they say even when he's sparring, he's got that same mentality where he's gonna hurt you, innit? Sparring partner or not, friend or not. As soon as he's there in the ring and you're not throwing punches, he's just spiteful regardless of who it is.
Yeah, that's what you need, man. But I would probably say Taylor would win the fight because I like his experience more. And I have to give it to him because of the size.
And especially Teo's a big lightweight, so obviously that helps him against other people. But where he's gonna move up in weight against Taylor, who's a big 140, he's gonna struggle to take that advantage is taken away from him, innit? So it's gonna be more just the skills. The power's not gonna make a big difference because Prograis hits hard, Ramirez hits hard. That is a factor, and it's gonna be pure skills against skills.
Yeah, it's almost like when people talk about Canelo possibly one day fighting Beterbiev, I would say that, like, when we're thinking about skills, Canelo takes it all the way. The only reason why people would question it is just because of the weight difference.
Yeah, 100%.
You get what I'm saying? Like, what do you think of that fight?
No, so like you said, I take Beterbiev just purely because of the power. Because Canelo is a combination puncher by trade, innit? And Beterbiev, he wants to tuck up and counter. So if you've got someone who's so much bigger than you, obviously I think Canelo's like 5'8", 5'9", Beterbiev's like 6'1". So Canelo's going to have to come on the inside regardless. And that's exactly what Beterbiev wants you, innit? So if you just, as you see them catching counters, and I don't know if Canelo can take them.
He can take a punch though, you know, because if you're taking clean punches from Triple G, I'm gonna give you credit where it's due.
Yeah, 100%. That means your chin's on point, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's hard ever seeing Canelo get knocked out, not just because of the chin, but the defense plus the chin. it makes you wonder, can anyone actually do that? I just think he'll get gun shy against Beterbiev because most of the opponents do, because it gets to a point where it's like, yo, the more I throw, the more I get hit. And
Mm.
that's not a nice feeling in the ring, isn't it? But all right, it would be a good fight because you have a man winning, but I would pick Beterbiev.
You know what, though? I'll say this. I would pick Canelo. Tentatively, but I'd pick Canelo. And I think he could knock him out.
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is because sometimes Beterbiev, he falls off balance when he's trying to come in.
Mm.
So he seems like someone to me where when he's coming forward with combinations, he won't be thinking defense enough with a guy like Canelo. So I think Canelo could knock him out.
But even Beterbiev, it's weird because like Gvozdyk, he hits hard, but he couldn't
Mm.
really put a dent in Beterbiev. But we've seen him get dropped by a few different people, innit? So the chin is a bit questionable, but yeah, like you said, he's definitely gonna get caught a few times in that fight, and we'll see how he reacts to it as well.
Yeah, exactly. That would be fire. That would be fire.
Mm. All right, Nonito Donaire, he becomes the oldest bantamweight champion of all time, knocking out Nadino Barley in 4 rounds. Donaire, he's had a crazy career. I think he started at about bantamweight, became like a 3-4 weight champion. And then I think that's the first time I've ever seen someone go from the high weight all the way back down to a low weight, which lets you know when he was winning 3-4 titles, he was much smaller than everyone else that he was fighting, innit? So it just
Mm.
adds to his legacy. And then now he's gone down in weight. Obviously, he lost to a new way, but he's come back. He's become world champion again. What did you make of everything?
Well, I think when you said he lost it anyway, we have to say it's no bad thing in a way to lose to a guy
Yeah.
like that. And then at the level he's fighting at, and at the age, even though this guy's not in someone like Anyway's class, it's still a magnificent achievement. And I think sometimes we forget because of people like Floyd Mayweather, right? He was fighting until an old age. We forget that this actually is old for boxing.
Mm.
5 decades ago, a guy fighting at 38 and winning new titles, that's crazy, so I was impressed by it, and I like the fact that he was going in for it. He wasn't gun shy at all. He was going to grab the title, and that's what he did. What did you
Mm.
think?
I think what you just said, and I think the thing that impressed me the most is Nonito Donaire. For years, he's been the only boxer who pays for his own drug testing. Whether it's fighting or not, he pays to
Hmm.
get drug tested the year round, just to like set the example that everyone should be doing it. And you see people like John Pascal, when he had his little comeback, like everyone was proud of him. But
Yeah.
now we know is why he made that comeback, and it was just drugs. But to see Nonito Donaire, where you know for a fact that was not drugs, that's just pure hard work, dedication. I don't know how long he's been at the top, probably from 2010, maybe even earlier, and to now to maintain that level. I've never seen him out of shape. I've
Mm.
never seen him, you know what I mean? Never don't blow up, you don't go down, and just always focused to come back against a champion. And he like even on the ring walk, he knew he was gonna win that fight. He had that supreme confidence to know, like, yo, this is my time, innit? Like these young boys, they ain't got nothing on me, innit? So I thought it
Yeah.
was great. And again, when you do something no one has ever done in history, that's when you know you're great, innit? When you become the oldest champion in your weight class, that means you're doing something superb.
Yeah, and I think as well, when you're fighting in the lower weight classes and you're older, you lose that explosiveness that the younger, not the younger guys, the little guys have. So in a way, it makes it even more impressive. So that's something to think about as well.
Yeah, they always say that heavyweights, age don't matter for heavyweights, innit? And what
Mm,
that means is it does matter for the guys at the little weights, innit?
exactly.
So that means,
Yeah.
yeah, it just makes his achievement look even better. Yeah, let's look forward to a few fights down the line. Not gonna
Mm.
start off this weekend, but Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence. Looks like that's fight happening next. What are your thoughts on that fight?
I think I think it's crazy. Like Manny Pacquiao, he's 42 now, right?
Yeah.
He's 42, taking on what I mean, it's between Crawford and Spence, but really the best fighter in the welterweight division. They say
Unified.
that, yeah, Spence is small for the welterweights. So he's even spoken about fighting at 154 and even 160. So for Manny Pacquiao to be fighting him, and we have to put into context that Manny Pacquiao started at flyweight, You could argue, is he even really a true welterweight? I think this is a fight that might be a step too far for someone like Pacquiao at this age. But if anyone can pull it off, it would be Pacquiao.
Yeah,
It would be
100%.
Pacquiao to do this. And if Pacquiao does this, I think he's making a great argument for being one of the best fighter of the generation. Like if some people said, he had a better career than Floyd Mayweather, not necessarily that I believe that, but I would actually see that case being made.
I think even years ago, before they fought, Max Kellerman made that point. Like even before the Floyd Pacquiao fight, I think it was, or just after, he said maybe Pacquiao's had a better career. Obviously, as you said, he came up from flyweight. This guy was fighting Antonio Barrera. He's fighting with the likes of Ricky Hatton from back then. So you say the best fighter of this generation. This guy's been through like 3 or 4 generations, and he's still at the top, innit? Imagine like Miguel Cotto versus Keith Thurman. Them two fighting just wouldn't make sense just from where their careers lined up. And Pacquiao's gone through all those generations and beat them all. So yeah, like I said, it's incredible what he's doing. Also, obviously, Spence was a unified champion. Pacquiao has a WBA. He had the WBA belt. He got stripped of it because he hasn't fought. But now the WBA saying we might give him that belt. What's your thoughts on that?
They're just crooks. And it's funny because it's almost like we can't do anything. As boxing fans, we should go protest. You know, as boxing fans, we might have to go protest outside these centers or something and hold up our little signs because it's clearly not right what they're doing. You can clearly see there's agendas behind it. It's not ethical, all these belts, and then they're just manipulating it when they choose and when they please. But it's almost like, what can we do?
They even sometimes
they like Robert.
Sometimes they even make up their own rules just to satisfy whatever they want to do next, isn't it? And like you said, it's incredible. Like you said, they are crooks, but yeah, there's nothing we can really do about it. But this weekend we've got Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. You gonna stay up for that one?
Yeah, I probably will.
What do you think of the fight?
I was just watching a promo for it, right? And I can't help but laugh every time Logan Paul says something crazy. Like he will say something like, "I'm gonna crack Floyd Mayweather's face in," and I'm just like, is this even real? Yeah. Like I'm trying to be respectful, but is this even real? The fact that they're able to sell this to us is amazing. you know, and we still want to watch it.
I was watching one interview with a rapper, Boosie Badass, innit? And this was before the fight was even signed. And he was literally begging Mayweather, said, no, don't take the fight. He said, Joe Logan Paul's 200 pounds, you know how big that is? So there are actual people out there who think, you know what, the bigger man, he could do the job.
Yeah, all right, if we're going to be fair, we'll be fair for a second and say, I think the difference in the ring is 30 pounds. It's probably like a 15-year age difference. Floyd's been out of the ring for, 3 years? He fought that exhibition, but at the same time, it's like he always stays in the ring. This is not a guy that blows up like Ricky Hatton. This is a guy that spars for fun. And there was a boxer. I think it's the guy. I think his name is Dennis, the mama's boy boxer. Do you know what I'm talking about? His mom trained him. I think it was him who said, and this was like a year or two ago, he said Floyd is in shape. Like he could fight the top guys, maybe not the top guys, but he could fight the guys just below. And he was saying this 2 years ago. I think he was saying like he could easily beat a Kell Brook, for example. So I think if Floyd wants to, he can knock him out in 1 round, but he might just drag it on. But maybe Logan Paul has a puncher's chance. Do you think he has a puncher's chance, or is it?
Everyone's got a puncher's chance. But like you said, I remember there was a video, I think Floyd posted it himself against Jose Vargas, a pro. And Floyd just walked into the ring and just played with him, beat him up for fun, innit? So like you said, the guy's in shape. Even being in the gym, I've seen guys, 60 kilogram handle someone 90 kilograms. And that's a bigger weight difference than, I think people don't realize how hard it is to actually knock someone out. Like it's not easy, isn't it? Especially someone like Floyd, who's that defensive. You're not just gonna land one big power shot against him, innit? When you do land against him, it's gonna be little taps. And I don't think it's gonna be, you've had Mosley, Cotto, all them guys try and land big bombs on Floyd. But he's telling me Logan Paul coming for a straight right hand is gonna it's gonna knock out Floyd, isn't it? And like you said, he's probably gonna drag the fight out, probably get Paul tired, and then once Paul is tired, I think he's gonna have his fun with him. Same way he done against Conor McGregor. Just wait a couple rounds, let him gas out, make him think he's winning the fight or whatever, and then afterwards just drown him at the end, innit? And just beat him up.
Yeah, but do you think the age will have an effect? I think he's 44 now, so
yeah, the age would have an effect.
That takes away reflexes, or
yeah, that's when he's fighting someone like Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, not when he's fighting Logan Paul. You might as well fight me. I got a better chance. You know what I mean? And it's like when you're fighting against other guys who have them reflexes, fair enough. When you're fighting someone who generally doesn't know how to box, I mean, you got beat by KSI. If KSI is locking you down, I don't know what Floyd Mayweather was going to do to you.
Yeah. No, it's true. But he did say, because I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. I'm trying to be fair to him. But Logan said, he said for the last year, been training real hard. So the longer this time, the fight got delayed, the longer the time went on, it's better for Logan. Yeah, so what would you say in response to that? Like, he's been getting better since that KSI fight, when you could argue Floyd hasn't been getting better.
Well, how did you say Floyd was? 44?
44, I believe.
So he's been training since he was, 4 or 5 years old? That 1 year ain't enough to catch up, innit? Yeah. That's what I was saying. It's like, when, like I said, Floyd's still an elite boxer. Like, if it was like you said, that Dennis Mama boys, he said he could probably beat Kell Brook. Kell Brook could knock out Logan Paul in 1 round. As bad as Kell Brook is, he'll probably still knock out Logan Paul 1 round, isn't it? So that's what I'm saying. What do you think? This fight's going to be on Sky Sports, but the Josh Taylor fight, they didn't even have UK coverage on any major network. What do you think of that?
Well, I know a lot of people are unhappy that Josh Taylor, they feel isn't being promoted in the right way. And there is a case to be made for that, because it's like he did something that no one in Britain, I believe, did, which is win those 4 titles. So it's like, if he's doing something for the country at that scale, why is the country not behind him? But then the counter argument is, does Josh Taylor himself do enough to promote himself? Because like I said at the start, I didn't even know Taylor's character was like that. And once I learned that Taylor had that gritty character, like that warrior mindset, then I actually started to like him more. I was like, I want to see what's going on with him. So maybe it's his fault that he hasn't shown some aspects like that to promote himself at all times.
I reckon a part of that is because he's Scottish, I feel, as well. Even look at it, like Andy Murray used to say, when I win, I'm British. When I lose, I'm Scottish. You know what I mean? Innit? So I think because he's not English, I think less people get behind him. I think if he was English, it would have been better. But yeah, like I said, it's sad, isn't it? Because the guy is literally the best fighter of this country. He is undisputed, pound for pound. He's up there with the best of them. But yeah, he's not getting the promotion he needs. But obviously, Floyd, he knows how to promote himself. Logan Paul knows how to promote himself. And I know a lot of your content has been about self-promotion. I think you wrote a book about it as well.
Yeah, well, I have a book called The Floyd Mayweather Mind. And in that book, it covers 4 aspects: mindset, the fundamentals of fighting, media, and how he handled his business. And then the media side of it, we talk about how at the start, and a lot of people don't know this, but at the start of Floyd's career, he wasn't taken as serious as people know of him now. Like, the top guys in his division in the early 2000s, they didn't want to fight him. Even Shane Mosley, he had a chance to fight him when he was called out by Floyd in 1999 and 2000. So when the fight happened 10 years later, people are blaming Floyd and saying he didn't fight him in his prime. But when Shane Mosley was rated number 1, Floyd was actually calling him out. Yeah. So because these guys because these guys didn't want to fight, Floyd had to take it into his own hands.
Could you say one thing? For anyone who don't believe it, go and search on YouTube, Sugar Shane Mosley complains about his tooth before they may have. There's one interview said, my tooth hurts, I can't talk about my info.
Exactly, and it's like, bro, a toothache. Really? Ask him if he would have backed out of the fight for a toothache in 2010 when that fight with Mayweather was the money fight. He wouldn't have. He would have done all he could to fight him. So he just didn't want to fight him at that time. And maybe you could say, all right, I understand it. He's not going to earn me a lot of money. So I think that's what Josh Taylor is like almost now. He doesn't put in enough effort on social media to then make the promoters say, hey, let's put more effort into him. If Floyd came up, right, in the same circumstances, people didn't want to fight him. If Floyd came up now with social media, that guy would probably rise to have 100 million followers because he would have gone crazy. He would have been hiring someone to always just make him go live or something. He would have been doing his own show like on YouTube. Like 24/7 was started by Mayweather's team. Like, well, he said that they came up with that concept. I think if it was in this day and age, Floyd would have just came up with 24/7 by himself, like on his own channel, just blogging. So
he's still got the most followers of every boxer as well.
Exactly. So it's like it just comes down to who's got the biggest brand and who puts in the effort to create that biggest brand. And Floyd Mayweather, he did that, so that's why he's getting the results. That's why he's fighting a YouTuber who's 0-1, and he's gonna get paid 100 million. That doesn't even make sense. When you say it out loud, it's like, wait, did you just say that correctly? Floyd's fighting a 0-1 boxer and his only loss isn't to a boxer. His loss is to another YouTuber. It don't even make sense. But to all the fighters out there listening, you have the power to take away the attention from the YouTubers. Just create a storyline, create a character, right? And embody and portray that character and just push it out on social media. When you're fighting with someone and it has an interesting storyline, just push a narrative. That's what the media do. If you're fighting to protect your family, start saying that in every post, hashtag it. If you're fighting for money, say that. But just put out the storyline of you. That's it. People want to know your storyline. And fighters just don't do that. So it's almost like I have to put a bit of the blame on the fighters. You have the tools to self-promote. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Especially, like you said, in social media these days, there's no reason you can't have a YouTube. There's no reasons you can't have a social media manager. So even we've done that for a few boxers as well and help push their social media out there. Just like you just have to use what you've got around you, innit? Especially social media right now, it's for free. That's the main thing. Like you said, it's so easy to create a hype on social media. You see people getting stupid amount of followers for doing dumb stuff, innit? Remember like
that's like Logan Paul.
Yeah, that's it. Literally him filming himself in the that suicide forest or whatnot. That's the first time I ever heard of the guy, innit? So it's like you can literally do whatever and become famous. Look at Ryan Garcia. He's one of the biggest stars in boxing, and it's got nothing to do with boxing. Not to say he's not a good boxer, but he became a star and then he became a boxing star.
Yeah, just keeping it real.
Yeah, that's it. So
yeah, that's just
self-promotion.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia came up by just doing training videos in his garage, just because it's interesting to see this young kid like coming from nothing. If he's doing it in a garage, he's giving you that feeling of coming from nothing, and I can talk and I'm interesting. Most of his followers and fans aren't boxing fans. Like he's got, you know, the young girls and on TikTok and that audience gravitates towards him. So, but it's working for him.
He's gone from that to having his fights get reposted by LeBron James and American footballers, and everyone literally posting on his story just simply because he's got that following. He probably reaches out to good people. Like a lot of boxers, they have boxing management. His management, he has the same manager as Kevin Hart. He's got the same manager as people in that kind of realm of life, innit? So that's going to push you way further than what any boxing manager can really do for you, innit? Maybe other than, let's say, Al Heyman or someone like that. But even Al Heyman,
he's another story.
That's another for another day. But even Al Heyman has got a fight at Deontay Wilder. Even him with that whole bronze bomber narrative that when he talks about a spirit going into his body, whatever, whatever he wants to say. At least he's got a big mouth. He knows how to promote himself, and he does it. But yeah, you're right. These boxers, it's the focus on themselves to promote themselves. Obviously, it's hard. It's hard as it is being a boxer in general. You feel beat up all the time, but literally, if you just record your training sessions, talk a bit after, record a little bit about now, post it on YouTube, you will get the views. You will get the views, innit? So it's sad to see boxers not doing more of it. I don't think there's many boxers with YouTube pages out there.
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple. I know Devin Haney. I think that's how he came up, because he had his own YouTube, and I think he went viral when he was like 17.
Yeah, and then he got with Floyd Senior, started training with him as well.
Exactly. So we could say Devin Haney took the formula and made it work for him, but maybe someone else did it for him, but it's still the same. But yeah, you just need a storyline, a narrative, a character, and just do stuff to surprise people. That's it.
Let's talk a bit more about the bronze bomber. He's been training with Malik Scott, and on the pad work, I've commented before. I feel like he's actually, how old is he? 34, 35? Maybe
34, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's 34.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen him do pad work where it looks like he's learning how to box.
Yeah. So might be 10 years too late.
It might be. But then again, with that kind of power, it only takes a couple, like I said, it only takes one time. It just have to be perfect one time. Just one little pad combination that works out well, and then Fury could be laid out and never get back up. So do you think his new training is going to help him in the trilogy?
Well, this is what I think, right? I remember when Manny Pacquiao fought Ricky Hatton. And Ricky Hatton at that time was a brawler, just coming in, sometimes too thirsty for the offense. So he linked up with Floyd Mayweather Sr., who obviously he taught Floyd Mayweather Jr. defense. So we already know how that went. So he's teaching Ricky Hatton defense. Now, when Ricky Hatton went in against Manny Pacquiao, after being trained by Floyd Mayweather Sr., it took about half a round for him to lose that, lose what he learned in that training camp. And then he got knocked out in the second round, going against Floyd Mayweather Sr.'s instructions. So I think that's what's going to happen with Deontay Wilder. He's going to maybe learn a few things, but when he goes into the ring and the heat starts coming, he's going to forget everything he learned.
Yeah, you're right, but because a lot of trainers always say, like, when you get a new trainer, you shouldn't go straight into like a massive fight. Just take like a tune up just to get used to your trainer, try implement the things in the ring where obviously a fight's a fight, but at the same time, when you're fighting someone lesser, it's easier to work on those things in it and draw them into you. But you're right, when you go against Tyson Fury, someone who completely outboxed you the first time, someone who beat you up the second time, and you're going to go back into the third time, it's going to be hard to implement all of those things at once, isn't it? Yeah. So what do you make of the whole situation with Fury announcing the fight with Joshua, and then the next day being told he has to fight Wilder for the third time?
I think it's ridiculous how they didn't know that was going to happen. Because it's like, if you know the case is going on, how can you move on with the fight? I don't think it's Anthony Joshua or Eddie Hearn's fault. I think it's Tyson Fury and his team's fault. Because his managers or his lawyers or whatever, they must know that case is going on and it hasn't been finalized. So how can you tell us there's a fight going on with AJ? So
and I find it dodgy that literally one day you announce a Joshua fight and then the next day the announcement happens, and I feel like they knew.
See, it's hard to say because we don't truly know, but it's just like when we add everything up, it's like you had to have known. You had to have known. It just don't make no sense.
I feel like it makes Eddie Hearn and Joshua look bad in the sense of they're always saying, oh, it's almost on the line. It's almost over the line. Same thing with the Wilder fight a few years ago. They kept saying, oh, it's almost over the line. Then we didn't get the fight. So it helps put them in a bad light, I feel. Obviously, it created a lot of hype on social media for a little while as well. And obviously, it's helped made to hype for the Wilder trilogy where everyone's had Wilder, Joshua, and Fury on their mind for the past, 3-4 months. So I think it's been very good promotion for them, regardless of what's happened in it.
Yeah, that's true. But realistically, does it matter in the end? It probably won't, because AJ I believe, will beat Usyk, and Fury should beat Wilder. And to be honest, the fight will happen maybe even in a better venue with more people. So maybe it's just one of them ones where it helps the build up. But we don't know. What if it's like a Lennox Lewis and who was it that he didn't fight?
Riddick Bowe.
Yeah, Riddick Bowe. What if that happens?
Yeah, and it's boxing. You never know what can happen, innit?
Yeah, that would be crazy. That would be a big loss for the fans.
Imagine Wilder knocks out Fury and then Usyk beats AJ, and then we're just sitting there thinking, just sitting there thinking, if only, innit? But I reckon a fight like that, regardless if they win, lose, draw against anyone, I reckon if you tell me January 2022, Joshua Fury, I'm gonna try to buy a ticket regardless of what happens in their career.
Yeah. Would you watch? Would you rather? What's it? Joshua Fury or Joshua Wilder?
Joshua Wilder. It's always Joshua Wilder. It's 2 big punches, isn't it? Going in there, there's gonna be a lot of bad blood, a lot of animosity, and it's probably not going past 3-4 rounds. Realistically.
Yeah, because Wilder will come straight in.
Yeah, because he's thinking Joshua can't even move his head. Thinking of just aim the big right hand, innit? And Joshua, again, he don't know. Obviously, he can box on the back foot, but that's not what he tries to do. He's going to try to take someone out of there, innit? Especially if Wilder can get in his head, which I do think he will, because Wilder can talk. He talks a lot of shit, but he can talk, innit? So I reckon he will get Joshua to the point where they want to have it out. Who do you think wins that fight?
I think I have to go with Joshua because he has more skill. I have to do it because it's like the thing is with Wilder is he's a one-trick pony. If he lands it, he'll take Joshua out. But I think with the experience that Joshua's getting, he seems like to me that he's improving every fight, and he's the type that likes to learn. Like I know that Joshua goes on YouTube to watch boxing fights to study it. I don't know if the other guys do that. And I see it with his last fight with Pulev. I saw tricks that he hadn't been doing before. I saw a little deception here and there, like he was feinting and trying to trick his opponent, which I remember 3 years ago, I was saying to people, like, he doesn't deceive enough. He doesn't deceive the opponent. But I see him starting to do that now. So I think I would take Joshua as the winner.
You're right, because early in his career, the reason people call him robotic is because he's gonna come to you, he's gonna jab, he's gonna do this. But now when he has them little feints, them little looks, them little stutters of the feet, and those kind of things, there, you're right. It makes him look like a completely different fighter, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the way he was moving around last fight. I think he took a leaf out of Lomachenko's book.
Yeah,
because the way he circled his opponent, tried to throw the uppercut, that looked like he had been watching Lomachenko.
I'm gonna ask you a couple just questions out there. Who's your top 5 pound for pound?
Okay, so I think I would say Canelo. He has to be number 1. Like without a doubt, he's performed too well over the last few years. And you might say, oh well, he didn't beat Triple G or whatever, but he's got the decision. Second fight, he improved his game plan. Since then, he's been fighting champions, moving up. That earns number 1 spot. Second, and second to 5th is where it's a bit of a toss up. But I think I'll say Terence Crawford, Naoya Inoue, Josh Taylor, and Usyk.
We got the same top 5, to be fair, as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it exact same?
Literally exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think between Teo and Josh Taylor, those are the 2 I was thinking, and Usyk as well. But I reckon with that, Teo, he hasn't fought that many world level guys before he became a world champion. Obviously, Josh Taylor, he fought Postal before he even fought for a world title. So I think he's got a bit of a deeper resume because at this point, the only world champions that Teo has is Comey and Loma. And I feel with Loma, obviously, it's 2 world titles, 2 world champions, but Loma's a very good world champion. And it's not just a regular guy. He was also a pound for pound guy. So it's a bit of a toss up. But I feel like Taylor's. I think he's shown me more. Because even in that Loma fight, Lopez didn't show me a lot. Because Loma's such a smaller guy, he was a bit gun shy. So I think Lopez, once he shows more, he could probably move up. But yeah, like you said, for me, the top three, they're quite obvious. But then after that, it's literally a toss up where the next two fights they're gonna go up or down, especially with Usyk. Especially with Usyk at heavyweight, if he loses to Joshua, obviously he's gonna go down. So it's gonna be the next year is gonna show us exactly where everyone's at. Who's your fighter to watch for this year?
I'm not too sure actually. I'm not too sure. I like the firepower of Belanga, but I'd have to think about that one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say him. Just for the firepower, literally.
Yeah, for me, it's Devin Haney, simply because with him there's a lot of question marks. One thing you ain't got a question mark over is the skills, but the other thing you got a question mark over is obviously he's improved his caliber of opposition now. But once he does step in, if he steps in with Ryan Garcia or Teofimo Lopez or anyone up and around the top at lightweight, it's just gonna be like, what's he got in it? He's gonna really see what he's about in it, because he's got a lot of doubt. He's got a lot of supporters, and then one of them's gonna be right in it. To me, he's got the most intriguing career because everyone can see the skills. Whether you don't like him, whether you do like him, everyone can see the skills. What everyone questions is the power and the grit, and I think I want to see those questions answered, innit? That's why would be the one to watch for me. I think he's the most intriguing fighter at the minute.
Yeah, I can see why you would say that. Yeah, I've before thought that he would be the king of the lightweights, but yeah, I think Teofimo takes it. So if anything, maybe it's Teofimo is the one to watch.
Yeah, for real. Especially because after this, Cambosa is probably gonna fight Taylor or maybe even Haney. Hopefully they fight each other. That would be a great one. Hopefully they fight each other. Yeah, Teo versus Haney. But even Teo versus what's his name again? Taylor. That would be a great fight as well. Two undisputed fighters going up against each other. And then winner will probably push into the top 3 pound per pound, if anything. Because it's just such a great accolade to have.
Yeah. Now that makes sense. I don't know if that's ever been done before. Like undisputed in those two weights fighting before.
Yeah, I don't think that's happened either.
Yeah, I think the winner of that makes a case to be top 3 for sure. But I think it's more impressive for Lopez actually, because obviously you'd be moving up.
Yeah, exactly. You got anything else you want to add for the fans?
No, I don't think nothing really comes to mind.
Tell them to follow you on socials.
Okay, I have the YouTube, which is Reemus Boxing, REEMUS Boxing. I have Reemus Boxing on Instagram, and then I have Reemus Boxing books on Amazon. So if they want to check that out, they can do that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, all the links will be down in the description. Sorry, producers, for that one. But yeah, wherever you need to find them will be down in the description. Thank you guys for watching. It's been your boy, the Purist. It's been Reemus Boxing. We're out.
Thanks for having me. Peace.